Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening for the November regular meeting of the County Legislature. Will everyone please rise for the invocation to be delivered by our clerk, Jeff Hall.
Almighty God, creator of all and judge over all, we pray thee to guide our work in this meeting and in all our duties. We pray for our officers and members of this legislature who serve and guard the welfare of the citizens of this community, that by thy blessing may be enabled to discharge their duties honestly and well. We pray that by thy help they may observe the strictest justice and preserve untarnished our loyalty to our county and to thee. Amen.
Thank you, Jeff. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Legislator Pasquarello.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Every year, Schenectady County and New York State join the rest of the country to celebrate Older Americans Month. We are joined this evening by several of our elder statesmen who have dedicated themselves to making a difference in the Schenectady County community. At this time, I'd like to invite legislators Osterlich and Pratt to the well to make some presentations.
Wrecking the place.
Tonight, we honor and recognize, during National Caregivers Month, Mary Socia, Delan Stageman, Armand Canestraro, and Nancy and Jerry Fury for their combined 100-plus years of volunteer service to the residents of Schenectady County. Typically, this ceremony takes place in May, which is Older Americans Month. The pandemic has had a way of rescheduling many events, including this annual celebration. The theme for the 2021 Older Americans Month is Communities of Strength. Let us now recognize the following Schenectady County residents for their efforts to build communities of strength. We give these awards in memory of one of our own, County Legislator Karen B. Johnson, who in her own wonderful way built communities of strength throughout Schenectady County. So our first award recipient is Mary Socia. Mary is the recipient of the 2021 Schenectady County Honorary Karen B. Johnson Older New Yorker of the Year Award. She was recognized on Friday, November 5th during the annual New York State Office for the Aging Older New Yorker of the Year award ceremony, which was held virtually again this year. During her employment in the grocery store business, she received awards for her job performance and also earned degrees for courses related to her work from Cornell University. Mary is a 90-year-old native New Yorker and has lived in the Capital District all of her life. For 17 years, Mary has volunteered for the Alzheimer's Association. She was the first inductee into the Alzheimer's Association Hall of Fame for her efforts in raising $45,000 during the course of her volunteer service. Mary's advice for volunteering is, although you may feel your efforts are minimal, they can be far-reaching in building awareness of this unfortunate disease and the crucial need to support research into Alzheimer's. The greatest reward is the satisfaction that she is playing a small part in helping to support their research, which will eventually find the cure for Alzheimer's. Mary was nominated by Bernard Socia, and thank you, Mary, so much for your service.
And the second award recipient we'd like to honor tonight is Delan Stageman. No pressure, but take center stage. Delan, sorry about that, is the recipient of the 2021 Schenectady County Honorable Karen B. Johnson Older New Yorker of the Year Award. She was also recognized on the virtual ceremony on November 5th. Delan was born and raised in Schenectady County and is a graduate of Niskayuna High School. As an integral member of our community, Delan has been a dedicated volunteer in a number of organizations for more than 9 years. One of her most significant contributions has been her leadership role at the Young Musicians Forum. It's a series of free concerts by exceptional young musicians preparing for careers in classical music. And in 2016, Delan stepped up to lead the organization, ensuring its continued support of local young musicians. In addition to her leadership role, Delan is an unsung hero of the Goose Hill Neighborhood Association. She responds to nearly every call for volunteers and has been a most reliable member. During the pandemic, Delan volunteered at all of our neighborhood events, including our mass giveaway, Build Your Learning Library, and park cleanups. Additionally, she has served as a representative for our Schenectady United neighborhoods. As a member of Retree Schenectady, she's actively engaged in encouraging planting, care, and conservation of current and future generations of trees in the city of Schenectady. She is an advocate and enthusiast for Retree and its mission to build healthier communities. Delan encourages others to find ways to contribute to their community through volunteerism. She says everyone brings their own unique skills and talents to an organization, and good things happen when people work together. Finding others who share your values and supporting one another has profound effects on individuals and community. Very well said. Delan was nominated by Kristen Moore of the New Goose Hill Neighborhood Association. Thank you so much for your service, Delan.
Thank you very much.
The next honoree is Armand Canestraro. Armand is the recipient of the 2021 Schenectady County Honorable Karen B. Johnson Lifetime Achievement Award. His involvement in the community is far-reaching. Armand is unselfish with his time and talent. Here are just a few examples. He received the U.S. Naval Recruiting Command Outstanding Assistant Certificate for his work in fostering excellent relations between U.S. Navy personnel and the citizens and institutions of his community. He hosted a Christmas gathering which raised over $5,000 to assist a Village of Scotia couple who lost their home to a fire on the Friday after Thanksgiving in 2018. He hosted a pasta dinner to raise funds for Rotterdam Junction residents after the devastating floods and damage in the wake of Hurricane Irene and Tropical Storm Sandy, raising nearly $4,000 in one evening. In his retirement, a term used lightly, he began to give back to his community even more. In 2009, he joined the Scotia Glenville Central School District as a bus driver. He found this to be the most rewarding position ever, working with children of all ages and sharing his life experiences with each. In 2009, Armand was nominated for appointment to the United States Selective Service Commission Region 1 local board member by then Senator Hillary R. Clinton, who at that time served on the Senate Readiness and Management Support Subcommittee. Formally confirmed and appointed by President Obama in 2010, Armand continues to serve in the peacetime role as a board member of the local draft board, charged with administering and executing the main provisions of the selective draft law. Most recently, Armand was elected in 2016 to serve as Fire Commissioner of the Glenville Hill Fire District number 8. There he volunteers numerous hours seeking grant opportunities, planning a future building expansion while remaining fiscally responsible, and providing a safe environment to our first responders. At the 2021 organizational meeting, he was named Vice Chairperson of the Fire Commission Board. Armand offers the following advice to others about volunteering. Getting involved in your community through volunteering will be the best job you will ever have in your life. Volunteering provides a special connection to the other community members, each contributing towards achieving a common goal, thereby making the community we live in a better place for everyone. Armand was nominated by Vicki Hillis from the town of Glenville Senior Center. Thank you, Armand, for your service.
And last but certainly not least, Nancy and Jerry Fury. I'm sorry that Jerry couldn't be here tonight, but come on up, if you don't mind. So Nancy and Jerry are the 2021 Schenectady County Honorable Karen B. Johnson Older New Yorker of the Year nominees. Nancy and Jerry began going to Street Soldiers Albany in 2018, collecting needed essentials like hygiene and pantry items, pet food, and providing hot meals and sandwiches weekly to all who requested assistance. Through their involvement in Street Soldiers Albany, they learned the workings of the group and helped launch the Schenectady team on February 10th, 2019. Nancy and Jerry work a few hours every day each week to help the Schenectady team collect and sort donations, and the team meets every Sunday outside. The team has provided dedicated service to those in need for over 105 consecutive Sundays, and Nancy and Jerry have been present for 100 of them. Nancy and Jerry have always been very charitable, giving what they can. They both enjoy telling people about hands-on experiences versus monetary support. They encourage people to find a cause they're passionate about and find a hands-on way to make a difference. It connects you to like-minded people, they say, who want to help. You make friends you may not have otherwise met. There is no better feeling than to directly see the impact you can have. Their greatest award is the people involved with Street Soldiers. They have built strong relationships, friendships with the people they support, and with fellow volunteers. The line between volunteer and friends who are supported is very blurred. There's a lot of love and support, which goes both ways. It's beautiful. In June of 2020, their first grandchild was born. They were asked to quarantine from Street Soldiers for 2 weeks prior to meeting the baby. They couldn't think of missing a Sunday. This is crazy, not getting to see their friends. So they came in their car and sat in the parking lot waving and smiling to see everyone so as not to totally miss a Sunday. Nice. It's fabulous. Nancy and Jerry were nominated by Maura Fury. Thank you, Nancy and Jerry, for your service, and it's a phenomenal organization.
We appreciate the time that we do.
This is about you. So I just want to mention that this is one of the legislators' favorite events all year. This is a real opportunity to thank you for all that you've done, but frankly, more importantly, the inspiration that you bring us, that you bring the folks at home in your devotion and service to our community. The years are impressive, but the heart, the just energy and the love that you've brought to our community is truly an inspiration to me for sure, and I dare say everyone in this room and everyone watching at home. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, picture.
Okay,
Are you comfortable with that?
I'm fine.
Thank you all, and once again, congratulations to our awardees. Before we begin our regular meeting this evening, we have one quick housekeeping item to attend to. We're going to convene in our role as members of the Schenectady County Tourism and Convention Bureau to consider resolutions pertaining to that body. Would the clerk please read the notice of special meeting of the Schenectady County Tourism and Convention Bureau?
Please take notice that pursuant to Section 4.03 of the bylaws of the Schenectady County Tourism and Convention Bureau, there will be a special meeting of the members of the Schenectady County Tourism and Convention Bureau, Inc. at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, November 9th, 2021, in the chamber of the Schenectady County Legislature, 620 State Street, Schenectady, New York, for the purpose of considering a resolution amending the bylaws of the Tourism and Convention Bureau and a resolution making appointments to the Tourism Convention Bureau Board of Directors.
Thank you. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fields.
Present.
Mr. Russo. Pratt.
Present.
King.
Present.
Mr. Constantine.
Here.
Scata.
Here.
Mr. Socia is absent. Mr. Pascarella. Mr. Paterni is excused. Ms. Osterlich.
Here.
Ms. Villano.
Here.
Mr. McGarry is excused. Mr. Hughes. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Jasinski.
Present.
12 present, 1 absent, 2 excused.
Thank you. Our first item this evening is Resolution 21-02. The clerk will read.
A resolution appointing corporate directors.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Gatta.
We have two new directors that are hopefully coming onto our board this evening. One of them is Lisa Carroll. Lisa Carroll is taking the place. She's the new Director of Sales and Marketing for the Courtyard Marriott in Schenectady at Mohawk Harbor. She has a lot of experience. She came from the Albany Marriott and the Hilton Garden in Troy, and also a lot of volunteer experience throughout the Capital District, and she's looking to really help us out at the Convention and Tourism Bureau, or Discover Schenectady. Also, Rick Richards, who is the new general manager at Rivers Casino, and he's worked at numerous casinos and resort companies throughout the United States and internationally, like Caesars and Bally's. Right now, he oversees all the day-to-day operations at the casino, all the event spaces, and all of the on-site restaurants. So we are hoping you will support them joining us on the board of directors.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing no, will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Mr. Russo. Ms. Pratt.
Aye.
Ms. King. Mr. Constantine.
Yes.
Scata.
Yes.
Mr. Socia is absent. Mr. Pascarella. Mr. Paterni is excused. Ms. Osterlich.
Yes.
Ms. Villano.
Yes.
McGarry is excused. Mr. Hughes. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Jasinski.
Aye.
12 aye, 1 absent, 2 excused.
Thank you. The resolution is passed. Our next item is Resolution 21-03. Clerk will read.
A resolution amending the bylaws regarding the terms and qualifications of directors.
Any discussion? Sir Gatta.
Frank can explain all the changes that we've made to the bylaws to update them and make them suit us a little bit better.
So it's real brief. There were a few mentions that use male pronouns. Those are being taken away to make it gender non-specific. We ran into an issue where we realized that many of the members of the board of directors are appointed based on their connection to entities. We put in a provision that says that if an individual ceases to be an owner of that entity or is no longer involved in that entity, they would automatically lose their position as a member of the board of directors, so that we don't have an issue of, say, someone leaving one entity, staying on, and then the entity wanting to reappoint somebody. And then the third issue is there used to be a requirement of a hotel of less than 50 rooms. That's been increased to less than 100 because, unfortunately, there are fewer smaller hotels now, and it became difficult to find someone that could fit the qualification.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing no, will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Mr. Russo. Ms. Pratt.
Aye.
Ms. King.
Aye.
Mr. Constantine.
Yes.
Ms. Gatta.
Yes.
Mr. Socia is absent. Mr. Pascarella. Mr. Paterni is excused. Ms. Osterlich.
Yes.
Ms. Villano.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry is excused. Mr. Hughes. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Jasinski.
Aye.
12 aye, 1 absent, 2 excused.
Thank you. The resolution is passed. And that concludes our business for the special meeting of the Schenectady County Tourism and Convention Bureau. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting of the Schenectady County Tourism and Convention Bureau is hereby adjourned. It will now move to our legislative conference and the Rules Committee to be chaired by Legislator Fields.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have a Rules Committee this evening. We have 4 items on the agenda. That was part of the resolution honoring various members of the community for their volunteer service, which is resolution number 66, 67, 68, and 69. And if... Thank you, Ms. McDonald. May I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the resolutions have been moved. Resolution number 70 and resolution number 71 are very similar. They're both funding regarding acceptance of monies from the New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services for funding of indigent legal defense services. So I will, again, combine these 2 resolutions together, and Mr. John McPhillips will speak on the first one, which is about $500,000, and the second one, which is around $300,000, but they're very similar.
Thank you, Chairman Fields. This is a renewal of the first resolution before you is the acceptance and authorization to accept the $506,000 for the 3rd counsel at first appearance. This funding is used to offset both the salary and fringe for a senior assistant public defender in the public defender's office and a senior assistant conflict defender in the conflict defender's office. It's a 3-year term going back retroactively to January 1st of 2020, and it actually carries on the funding stream associated with both the first CAFA, which is counsel at first appearance, as well as the second counsel at first appearance. Would you like me to jump?
Okay. Do we have any questions? These are good things that the state is reimbursing us for in this regard. Mr. Hughes. Thank you, Mr. Hughes. And a motion by Mr. Hughes to move forward Resolution 70 and 71 together. Second, Mr. Pasquarello. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? These resolutions have been moved. And with that, Mr. Chair, the Committee of Rules has come to an end.
Thank you, Legislator Fields. It's now time to open a privilege of the floor. We were able to open up our gallery for a limited number of people. We also invited members of the public to submit comments through a form on our website. We'll begin with those who are here in person. Members of the public are asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes, and please state your full name and address for the record. Any members of the public present who wish to address the privilege of the floor?
Good evening, County Legislators. My name is Chad Putman. I reside at 225 Kings Road in the city of Schenectady. First want to congratulate those who won re-election and election to the county legislature, and I'm also very excited that the city of Schenectady residents supported the election of Omar McGill to the county legislature. I'm excited about the next chapter. I'm here tonight to talk about homeless and housing our homeless. We have an opportunity to do better by those who are homeless and at risk of homelessness in the city. Last night, an individual was released from Schenectady County Jail. With ongoing continued parole, he was advised to present at the Altamont program, the monastery, on Duane Ave in Schenectady. Staff helped him contact Schenectady County Department of Social Services after hours. The response he got: "You're going to have to go to the mission in Albany. Tonight's not a code blue." Fortunately, the staff member felt bad for the individual and let him stay the night and then present at DSS this morning. He stayed in the room with 3 other empty beds. Unacceptable. Code blue or no code blue, the fact that our Schenectady County Department of Social Services still wants to ship our homeless to Albany is unacceptable. Over $50 million coming to the city and $30+ million to the county of COVID relief funding over the next 2 to 3 years. We can do so much better. I've asked the Schenectady County Legislature to invest in a Code Blue navigation center and keep that center open regardless of temperatures. That would be a great start. And while this pilot project proposal is under review, perhaps we can start with a warming station with phone chargers or an access to a phone. Because when you advise the homeless to, quote, contact a local shelter, there is a level of privilege in that advisement. Most of the homeless I work with either don't have a phone or their phone needs to be charged. We can and we will do better. Thank you.
Thank you. Any members of the public wishing to comment during privilege of the floor? Any other members of the public wishing to comment during privilege of the floor? Any other members of the public wishing to comment during privilege of the floor? Seeing none, privilege of the floor is now closed. And I call to order the November regular meeting of the County Legislature. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Fields.
Present.
Mr. Russo. Pratt.
Present.
King.
Present.
Mr. Constantine.
Here.
Scata.
Here.
Mr. Socia is absent. Mr. Pascarella. Mr. Paterni is excused. Ms. Ostolich.
Here.
Ms. Valano.
Here.
Mr. McGarry is excused. Mr. Hughes. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Jazinski.
Present.
12 present, 1 absent, 2 excused.
Thank you. Members received copies of the minutes from the meeting held on October 12th. Is there a motion to adopt the minutes? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are hereby adopted. Clerk will read the list of reports received.
We received reports from the Commissioner of Finance, Department of Weights and Measures, and the County Clerk.
Thank you. Mr. Ostolich with the reports from the Committee on Health and Human Services.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Committee on Health and Human Services met on November 1st, 2021, and reported to the agenda resolutions 157, 158, 159, and 160.
Thank you. Legislator Valano with reports from the Committee on Labor and Civil Service.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Committee on Labor and Civil Service met on November 1st, 2021, and reported to the agenda Resolution 161.
Thank you. Legislator Pascarella with reports from the Committee on Public Facilities, Transportation, and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Committee on Public Facilities, Transportation, and Infrastructure met on November 1st and reported to the agenda number 162.
Thank you. Legislator Constantine with reports from the Committee on Public Safety and Firefighting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Committee on Public Safety and Firefighting met on November 1st, 2021, and reported to the agenda resolutions 163 and 164.
Thank you, sir. Legislator Fields reports from the Committee on Rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Committee on Rules met earlier this evening and reported to the agenda resolutions 151, 152, 153, 154, 155, and 156.
Thank you, sir. And also committee reports from the Committee on Ways and Means.
The Committee on Ways and Means met on November 1st, 2021, and reported to the agenda resolutions 158, 161, 163, and 165.
Thank you. There are several ceremonial resolutions on the agenda this evening. They are resolutions 151 through 154. I'll open the floor to discussion on these resolutions. Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk will call the roll on ceremonial resolutions 151 through 154. Members may know any resolution on which they wish to be recorded in the negative.
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Mr. Russo. Ms. Pratt.
Aye.
Ms. King.
Aye.
Mr. Constantine.
Yes.
Ms. Scata.
Yes.
Mr. Socia is absent. Mr. Pascarella. Mr. Paterni is excused. Ms. Ostolich.
Yes.
Ms. Valano.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry is excused. Mr. Hughes. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Jazinski.
Aye.
12 aye, 1 absent, 2 excused.
Thank you. The resolutions are passed. Our next item is Resolution 155-21, sponsors the Committee on Rules. The clerk will read.
Resolution regarding the acceptance of monies from the New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services for funding of indigent legal defense services.
Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Mr. Russo. Ms. Pratt.
Aye.
Ms. King.
Aye.
Constantine.
Yes.
Ms. Scata.
Yes.
Mr. Socia is absent. Mr. Pascarella. Mr. Paterni is excused. Ms. Ostolich.
Yes.
Ms. Valano.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry is excused. Mr. Hughes. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Jazinski.
Aye.
12 aye, 1 absent, 2 excused.
Thank you. The resolution is passed. The next item is Resolution 156-21, sponsors the Committee on Rules. The clerk will read.
A resolution regarding the acceptance of monies from the New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services for the funding of indigent legal defense services.
Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Fields.
Aye.
Mr. Russo. Pratt.
Aye.
Ms. King.
Aye.
Constantine.
Yes.
Ms. Scata.
Yes.
Mr. Socia is absent. Mr. Pascarella. Mr. Paterni is excused. Ms. Ostolich.
Yes.
Ms. Valano.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry is excused. Mr. Hughes. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Jazinski.
Aye.
12 aye, 1 absent, 2 excused.
Thank you. The resolution is passed. Our next item is Resolution 157-21, sponsors Legislator Osterlich. The clerk will read.
Resolution to accept monies from the New York State Department of Health and Health Research, Inc. for Public Health Corps Fellowship Program.
Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Mr. Russo. Ms. Pratt.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Mr. Constantine.
Yes.
Gata.
Yes.
Mr. Socia is absent. Mr. Pascarella. Mr. Paterni is excused. Ms. Ostolich.
Yes.
Ms. Valano.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry is excused. Mr. Hughes. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Jazinski.
Aye.
12 aye, 1 absent, 2 excused.
Thank you. The resolution is passed. Our next item is Resolution 158-21, sponsors Legislator Osterlich. The clerk will read.
A resolution to accept monies from the New York State Office of Children and Family Services for COVID-19 response services.
Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Mr. Russo. Ms. Pratt.
Aye.
Ms. King.
Aye.
Mr. Constantine.
Yes.
Ms. Gata.
Yes.
Mr. Socia is absent. Mr. Pascarella. Mr. Paterni is excused. Ms. Ostolich.
Yes.
Ms. Valano.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry is excused. Mr. Hughes. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Jazinski.
Aye.
12 aye, 1 absent, 2 excused.
Thank you. The resolution is passed. Next item is Resolution 159-21, sponsors Legislator Osterlich. The clerk will read.
A resolution to accept monies from the New York State Department of Health for COVID vaccine administration expenses.
Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Mr. Russo. Ms. Pratt.
Aye.
Ms. King.
Aye.
Mr. Constantine.
Yes.
Ms. Gata.
Yes.
Mr. Socia is absent. Mr. Pascarella. Mr. Paterni is excused. Ms. Ostolich.
Yes.
Ms. Valano.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry is excused. Mr. Hughes. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Jazinski.
Aye.
12 aye, 1 absent, 2 excused.
Thank you. The resolution is passed. Next item is Resolution 160-21, sponsors Legislator Osterlich. The clerk will read.
A resolution to authorize the county manager to enter into a multi-year agreement with Century Linen and Uniform.
Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Russo. Ms. Pratt.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Constantine.
Yes.
Ms. Gata.
Yes.
Mr. Socia is absent. Mr. Pascarella. Mr. Paterni is excused. Ms. Ostolich.
Yes.
Ms. Valano.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry is excused. Mr. Hughes. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Jazinski.
Aye.
12 aye, 1 absent, 2 excused.
Thank you. The resolution is passed. Our next item is Resolution 161-21, sponsors Legislator Socia. The clerk will read.
Resolution to create and eliminate certain positions in the office of the Schenectady County Attorney.
Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Mr. Russo. Ms. Pratt.
Aye.
Ms. King.
Aye.
Mr. Constantine.
Yes.
Ms. Gata.
Yes.
Mr. Socia is absent. Mr. Pascarella. Mr. Paterni is excused. Ms. Ostolich.
Yes.
Ms. Valano.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry is excused. Mr. Hughes. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Jazinski.
Aye.
12 aye, 1 absent, 2 excused.
Thank you. The resolution is passed. Our next item is Resolution 162-21, sponsors Legislator Paterni. The clerk will read.
Resolution to accept monies from the New York State Community Development Block Grant CARES Program for COVID-19 response services.
Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Russo. Ms. Pratt.
Aye.
Ms. King.
Aye.
Mr. Constantine.
Yes.
Ms. Gata.
Yes.
Mr. Socia is absent. Mr. Pascarella. Mr. Paterni is excused. Ms. Osterlich.
Yes.
Ms. Valano.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry is excused. Mr. Hughes. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Jazinski.
Aye.
12 aye, 1 absent, 2 excused.
Thank you. The resolution is passed. Our next item is Resolution 163-21, sponsors Legislator Constantine. The clerk will read.
Resolution to accept monies from the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services for purposes outlined in the statewide interoperable communications grant program.
Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Russo. Ms. Pratt.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Mr. Constantine.
Yes.
Ms. Gata.
Yes.
Mr. Socia is absent. Mr. Pascarella. Mr. Paterni is excused. Ms. Ostolich.
Yes.
Ms. Valano.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry is excused. Mr. Hughes. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Jazinski.
Aye.
12 aye, 1 absent, 2 excused.
Thank you. The resolution is passed. Our next item is Resolution 164-21, sponsors Legislator Constantine. The clerk will read.
Resolution to accept monies from the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services for emergency management personnel services.
Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Mr. Russo. Ms. Pratt.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Constantine.
Yes.
Ms. Gata.
Yes.
Mr. Socia is absent. Mr. Pascarella. Mr. Paterni is excused. Ms. Ostolich.
Yes.
Ms. Valano.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry is excused. Mr. Hughes. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Jazinski.
Aye.
12 aye, 1 absent, 2 excused.
Thank you. The resolution is passed. Our Our next item is Resolution 165-21, sponsors Legislator Fields. The clerk will read.
A resolution authorizing a mortgage tax distribution of $2,616,529.63 to the various municipalities of Schenectady County for the period of April 1, 2021 to September 30th, 2021.
Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Russo. Ms. Pratt.
Aye.
Ms. King.
Aye.
Mr. Constantine.
Yes.
Ms. Gata.
Yes.
Mr. Socia is absent. Mr. Pascarella. Mr. Paterno is excused. Ms. Ostrowitz.
Yes.
Ms. Solano.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry is excused. Mr. Hughes. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Jazinski.
Aye.
12 aye, 1 absent, 2 excused.
Thank you. That resolution is passed as well, and that concludes our business for this regular meeting of the County Legislature. Is there a motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Those opposed, nay.
Aye.
And the legislature stands adjourned. Thank you all.